Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be drawing number 5 of the National Dex, Charmeleon. I'm not just simply going to show you how I do it, but also I'm going to show you all of the digital mishaps I happen to make along the way. I don't like to shy away from simply showing stuff that I did wrong, so this is a great example. I was not feeling like completely sketching this, so I just did a rough estimate of his face, which was wrong. Use the reference, figure it out, use broad shapes. Of course, I'm also gonna show you how you can get away with stupid mistakes like that, but just so you know, the first 5 to 10 minutes were not necessary, if you ask me. Oh yeah, the lasso tool, the one tool I wish I had on paper. Just doesn't get better than the lasso tool. I've seen people make complete drawings using it. They just block out the silhouette of a character and everything, and then they just decide to use that as a reference. They just put it there and then draw whatever they feel like drawing on top of it. They make some pretty cool concept art using that. Okay, so now we're drawing his very interesting thingy on his head. I always liked that Charizard had 2 of them. I just think that Charmeleon shouldn't have 1 of them. It's just weird. Please don't. And now we made Charmeleon look like a Minecraft villager. And of course, it's not like I wanted to make him look like that, but that's just how it goes. Ah yeah, classic mistake of making a thing that's not humanoid have a long torso. On paper this would be way easier, but digitally I thought I could get away with it. Because on paper I would have drawn circles. Tried to map it out. But digitally, no. I decided to do it completely different. And I just made him look like he grew up a little bit. Even after adjusting, I still feel like he's too tall. Especially that nose doesn't look like it's part of him. It looks like he hit it too hard to the counter or something. It's extra bulbous. But this is the fascinating part about the way I draw. Because I started to get annoyed by the way he looked. And then, bam. You see it? I turned his nose into something a mother could be proud of. Of course, his jaw wasn't perfect yet, but whose jaw is perfect? That's a weird tangent. Yeah. So here we go. This originally was a stream that took more than 2 hours. I tried to make it short enough so you could actually draw along, but also long enough so it was not too quick. Tried making it a 10-minute one, and then it ended up looking so quickly that I couldn't draw along on paper, which was kind of the point of this video. So I was like, oh, no, that doesn't work. What is fun is that I now know for sure that people are theoretically able to draw along with it, which is perfect. So we're finally at my perfect and favorite stage, the one skill I always wanted to perfect, inking. It's not a lot better than inking, if you ask me. Besides thinking about composition, maybe. But inking, oh yeah. In my eyes, always gets the kick. And that's what I like about this, because I felt like it was very stiff while I looked at the sketch. And this is a technique I also do on paper. I always clean up my sketch. Always clean up your sketches. If you're sure, clean it up. And if you think the cleaning up process is tedious, maybe use a light table or your smartphone. Just put it on the Google homepage and just put your paper on top of it. Yeah, I've never seen Google in a darker theme. They do make it very bright over there. Okay, so now I had a problem. It's not really a problem, but it is a problem. How much of the original pose do I keep? Which is a weird question to ask, because it's not like I'm redrawing the original pose. But, do you see it? Do you see it? There you go. Now the proportions are almost perfect. Almost. And here I was screwing around, figuring out where the perfect tail position would be. I do like the low one, but I think he's not the kind of guy to keep his tail that low. I don't know. I never asked him, but it just didn't feel good to put it that low, if you ask me. I'm afraid I went a little bit too detailed on some of the parts. Huh? How can you be too detailed, are you asking? Or how do you pull that off? Too detailed? Well, there's a problem. When you learn anatomy and you're not copying the design of something, it is very, and I mean very easy to suddenly add muscle groups that should have been there that aren't supposed to be there. Do you see this? This is my favorite thing about drawing digitally. I get to ink twice. Oh. But yeah, I'm a little bit cheeky about it, so I call the first ink layer the second sketch.
Why won't you do that?
Because it's actually very easy. Because if you simply make sure your lines are crisp, you can then focus on line weight. And so when I draw my comic book, BlackWisp, normally I simply make a second passage over the drawing. I go over it the first time inking, and then before I'm finished, I make sure to accentuate the places that had a more defined line weight, just so the focal points stand out as much as they are supposed to, which is hard to replicate. I feel like drawing digital and then also making different passages over your drawing as an ink layer is awesome. So I did. As you can see, like I said, too much detail. I try to think a little bit too much about how the claws are connected to the forearm, which is unnecessary. I also added unnecessary shading to it. It did make me feel like it popped more. Let me know in the comments if you like the black edges on claws and stuff. Very anime-esque, but clearly not the Pokemon art style. Yet. Not yet. Because it is coming. I almost don't want to ask this, but let us know in the comments below if this is your favorite Pokemon. Everyone please be nice. Just be nice. Okay? Just be nice. You can like Charmeleon. Yeah, you can. Yeah. For all of those Bulbasaur lovers out there, I will be redoing him. I did him dirty. Go watch the other go watch the other video to see how dirty I did him. I was not prepared to use the reference properly. And as you can see, I still am not prepared to use the reference properly. Because I could have looked up more references from different angles. Yet I did not. Oh, such faulty wiring. But I do feel like I pulled it off in the end. So, usually you're not able to simply stop inking and do the foot again. So if you wanted to replicate this part of the process, first make sure you draw the foot incorrectly and then draw it correctly. You would need to, I don't know, add a post-it note over your drawing. And then draw it again, I guess. But then it would be like green paint, yet or red or yellow, which would be very weird. But who cares? It's all about having fun, isn't it? And I could have just shown you only the finished drawing and just said, hey, yeah, I drew this. But I was like, no, you need to see how I struggled, because it's fun to see what kind of stupid mistakes I made. I always have a lot of fun drawing, especially these guys. I saw Pokemon Winds and Waves getting announced, and I was like, oh, I need to do this. I need to draw all of them. It's been years since I drew them. Well, to be honest, I didn't draw all of them back then, but I did combine them, because I was one of those. I was like, yeah, wouldn't Electivire be cooler if he and Electabuzz could do a fusion Dragon Ball Z style? So I drew that. Didn't turn out great, but I love doing it. I just love doing it. I even combined less beloved Pokemon, like mixing Manectric with Ariados. That was nightmare fuel, but I did like the whole process of it, and it worked. Eventually I felt like it was a good drawing for someone who's clearly 10 years old. Though the internet makes me feel like saying you're 10 years old doesn't mean anything in terms of drawing skill anymore. Because I've seen people draw better than me, who are still in diapers. And I'm always asking myself if it's a hoax, or if they just caught me lacking. Because I do feel like I'm lacking in some the skill departments, if you catch my drift. I can draw all of these lines in one single passage on paper, but I cannot digitally. It's a little bit too slippery, but I've been drawing digitally since 2019, before the big C, and then, got a little more time to practice back then. I didn't utilize it to the fullest, but I have been using BlackWisp.Studio for as long as I had a digital tablet, which I also haven't been doing justice to, since I'm like, where would I learn the shortcuts? I'm a traditional artist, let me struggle. So I did. I struggled a lot, and I'm still struggling. I would genuinely like to know how you would have tackled drawing the fire on his tail, because I did not do his fire justice. I did not. I was having fun, but that's not. Oh, look, ad read. Look, like and subscribe. And there you have a slight preview of what he's going to look like. I call this guy I discovered the blend tool. If you watched the other videos too, you might have noticed that right after I messed up the Bulbasaur drawing, I discovered that I can clip a tiny picture to the right side so I can use the eyedropper tool. After using the eyedropper tool for the first time, I got so confident. Oh, it's not normal. It's not normal. Just not. It's a it's a it's a Dutch saying. I don't know how you say it in English without it sounding weird. It's not normal. I guess you could say it's weird AF. But here in the Netherlands, we like to point out that it's simply not normal. It's niet normaal. You hear it? It's almost the same, but so different. And here you go. We got the base colors in place, which means we finally get to do some shading. Which is when I again decide to go overboard. Why? Why do I go overboard? Well, it's a very easily answerable question. I take this stuff way too serious. I'm like, okay, so what's the light direction? So his one arm is in front of the light, so that would cast a shadow on most of his upper leg, and slightly on his other leg, but only on the downside of it, and a little bit on his belly. Okay, and the light from the fire is hyper illuminating his face, so I make sure to darken the eye socket, and then simply apply the shadows that are going to be applied to the other side of the face. You might be wondering, why did I do armpit shadows there? Well, it's because it's illuminated, but the arm is in front of it. And if you map the armpit shadow to the leg shadow, you see that it's a thin as fuck kind of shadow going over it, which is optimal. If the fire is slightly to the right and behind, but also coming out from the top. Which is why I think I made this drawing more intensive than I should, because if you look at the normal reference photo I use in the top right corner, they didn't care about the fact that he has a fiery tail. It's like, yeah, this dude is made out of crystal, but I don't feel like doing a crystal refracting of light texture on all the things around them every time we decide to draw a Sableye. But his eyes. Yeah, we know. We're not gonna do it. Oh. Why not? Well, people are also not dropping dead because they got too close to a wheezing. Which would be awesome. And here we go. Do you people like cell shading? I love cell shading. I always like how poppy the anime look gets when it's applied correctly. And I did not apply it correctly here, because I was trying to follow the way Pokémon handles cell shading. they do double shadows now. As you can see, you have a singular one on the face of Charmeleon on the right, and then he has a darker one almost connecting to it. Which I'm like, that's a way of doing it? You're obviously profiting from doing it because people like your style. So that's nice. It's just not my forte. You understand what I mean? But I will try it. And I will even try using the blur tool. Just this once. No, I can say just this once and then do it in every other video. I'm gonna start doing it from now on. Okay? I was so proud of the Venusaur one that I was like, how can I make this pop even more? I decided to draw a Charmander in the same one, the same style, and then afterwards I was like, how about I do Charmeleon using the blur tool? And I'm actually very satisfied. Let me know in the comments below if you also appreciate the usage of the blur tool. It's one of those things where I'm like, you can do it without it, or you can do it with it. And I really like how it turned out. First doing the first shadow layer, then doing the second shadow layer, making sure the divide is less visible. So I'm even softening the lights even more than the Pokemon one already did, which I do feel adds that Pokemon shadow effect. And then I went overboard. I was like, yeah, I need to do it there too. I need to do it there too. Oh, how about I make a warm light coming from the tail, illuminating Charmeleon. Yeah, sure, why not? Also, I still don't know why I didn't do this at the start. I already finished the Charizard one. It was a fun video. Lots of fun, yes. I ended up making him a little bit too high contrast. But it does make him pop so nicely that I am not gonna apologize for it. So be on the lookout for that video. The short is already online, which is a good thing, I think. Pretty sure it is. Oh, I love these tricks. So if you wanted to do this in real life, you would usually use some kind of airbrush or a gouache. I also like using those gel pens. They work like a treat, but it will be very messy if you use them like this. And that's it. Let me know how you want to draw your fire when drawing a fire type Pokemon or fire in general. And let me know if you liked the video. It would be very nice if you liked and subscribed. We're on the way to the second set of 20 subscribers, which would be awesome. Obviously, the real goal is 50, and then 500. That would be nice. But if we can get another 20, that would already be cool. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe.